I always cherished those rare moments when I could escape the pressures of everyday life with my small family and spend some quality time together. So when I heard about the historic villa of a famous musician that had recently been converted into a hotel, I felt like it was a perfect opportunity to take a vacation there. The villa had just opened as a historic hotel, so the special opening prices and offers were incredibly tempting. The villa had a unique charm. The antique decorations and beautiful paintings covering the walls made it look like a priceless piece of history and a true work of art. My husband, our 3 children, and I arrived in the afternoon. The weather was incredibly calm, especially since it was autumn. At that time of day, the sunlight cast a golden glow over the old stones of the villa. But strangely, there weren't many employees around. There was only one person at the reception desk, along with the manager, who gave us a tour of the villa before handing us the keys to our rooms. My children quickly got comfortable and started playing. Their laughter filled the place, and I worried they might disturb the other guests. But strangely enough, there were no other guests besides us. I let them keep playing and went off on my own to explore the place. I found a huge room that looked completely different from the rest of the villa. There was nothing inside except for a massive old piano. The scratches and scars covering its wooden frame had ruined its appearance, even though it was obvious that the piano was valuable. I couldn't resist sitting down and playing it. I was a music teacher, and becoming a famous pianist had once been my dream. But life had other plans for me. I was completely lost in the moment. I didn't even notice how much time had passed until dawn. The sound of the piano echoed throughout the villa. That night, while we were having dinner, I noticed that my children were unusually quiet. I asked them if they were okay. They nodded, but none of them said a word. When I took them back to their room to put them to bed, I heard them humming strange melodies with their eyes closed. They were humming ancient symphonies from centuries ago. There was no way children their age could have ever heard them. But I ignored it completely because I had no explanation for it. The next morning, I found my husband sitting by the window, tapping on the window frame, as if he were playing a specific rhythm on an invisible instrument. I asked him what he was doing. He looked at me with a strange expression I'd never seen in his eyes before. His eyes were wide open as he told me, "There's a melody playing inside my head. I don't know where it came from." Then he turned back toward the window and continued what he was doing. What I knew about the history of the villa was that its owner had been a very famous musician in the 20th century. His name was Alessandro Verri, and he was known for composing symphonies that described the other world, the world beyond death. Some rumors claimed that he could communicate with the spirit world through his music. There was never any proof of those rumors, but one thing everyone knew was that during his final years, he lost his mind and became completely insane before dying inside the villa under mysterious circumstances. He died before finishing his final symphony. While I was going through his old notebooks, I suddenly heard the piano. I ran to the room where it was kept, but when I got there, it was empty. That night, a powerful storm suddenly surrounded the villa from every direction. I woke up in the middle of the night to the sound of the wind and realized my husband wasn't beside me. I went outside to look for him and check on the children, but when I reached their room, they were gone. I ran through the villa in terror and found them standing in the large courtyard near the entrance. But they were in a strange state, almost as if they were sleepwalking. Their bodies were swaying to the sound of the piano that had suddenly begun filling the entire place. Each one of them was standing there, staring at the wall in front of them, as if they couldn't see anything else. Terror took over me as I called their names, but they couldn't hear me. They just stood there, completely motionless. I ran through the villa's corridors without having any idea how to save them. I was desperately trying to think of anything I could do to stop what was happening. Then I noticed something terrifying. My shadow on the wall was moving ahead of me, moving on its own. I entered the piano room and the door behind me. suddenly slammed shut. I began seeing strange figures moving around me. I couldn't tell if they were real or if my fear was making me imagine them. I gathered my courage and took a few steps toward the piano. I was shocked to see that its appearance had changed. It looked brand new, and all the scratches were gone. Then an idea came to me. I wasn't sure if I was right, but maybe the key to everything was the music that the composer had never been able to finish. I sat down at the piano and began playing the final symphony he had written before. He died the symphony he never got to finish or perform for an audience. Luckily, I had seen his sheet music while going through his notebooks. As I played, I could feel things moving around me. Dark shadows appeared in the corner of my eye, but I refused to look at them. I kept playing, and the melody flowed effortlessly. I gathered all my experience and all the dreams I'd once had of becoming a pianist. I played with passion and poured everything I had into the melody. I could feel the walls of the villa moving around me, but there was nothing that could stop me. The strangest thing was that the storm outside grew weaker every time I finished another part of the symphony. Even the shadows and strange figures around me began retreating into the walls and slowly disappearing. Little by little, my husband and children finally woke up from the state they had been in. They looked completely confused. My husband asked me what had happened. I told him nothing had happened, but that we needed to leave. The piano had returned to its old scratched condition, and the weather outside the villa had returned to normal, just like when we first arrived. As soon as the sun came up, we packed our bags and prepared to leave. Before getting into the car, I took one last look at the villa and at the window of the piano room. For just a single second, I thought I saw a smiling man standing there. His appearance made it look like he belonged to another era, but he disappeared almost instantly, leaving nothing behind except the old walls.